still have a little bit after Kurt, so let's be present for Kurt. And tell me when you're ready.
All right. Folks, welcome. As I've just been introduced, I'm Kurt. Thank you for sticking around until the very, very end. I promise you free beer tomorrow for your attention and whatever input you may have. I am not going to be talking about SMEs or anything to do with SMEs today. We've had a wonderful group. We've learned a lot about SMEs. I never want to hear that acronym again. But what I would like to focus on for just a little while is blended learning. And our objective today is going to be choosing the best modality to effectively contain or convey content. So, blended learning. What does the word blended mean to you? It's a mixture. Okay, we've got lots of potential modalities for delivering content. What are some of those modalities?
The virtual classroom.
The virtual classroom, my favorite and yours. Thanks, Bill. Anyone else?
Using SMEs on video.
Thank you very much for that input, Jay. I appreciate that. And I'll get you later. Good stuff. So, we have virtual classrooms. We have using subject matter experts. What else? Which one are we using right now? Face-to-face. Thanks, Diane. What are some other options that don't involve a live human being?
E-learning.
E-learning. What's the difference between e-learning and a webinar?
E-learning, you can take it whenever you want. You don't need to have the instructor available at that time.
Good stuff, on demand. Hey, I can take it in my pajamas at 3 o'clock in the morning, if I so wish. These things help when they're turned on. Next step. So, for the rest of our time together, which isn't very long, our key is going to be to choose the delivery modality that is most effective for both your audience, the training purpose, and most realistic given your organizational resources. Now, when we talk about the modalities themselves, I like to divide them into 2 different categories. One involving a subject matter expert, or well, not do. You almost got me to say that, Jay. One involving a live instructor, and one not necessarily involving a live instructor. So, we have our modality options of synchronous and asynchronous. Now, based on the modalities that we just discussed, and can anyone remember one of the topics?
Face-to-face.
Face-to-face. Is face-to-face synchronous or asynchronous? Synchronous. Why?
Because we're together, the instructor and the participants are together at the same time.
Fantastic. So synchronous, instructor and participants together at the same time. Asynchronous, you don't have to be there at the same time. That's your on-demand stuff. So, face-to-face. And by the way, this is why the screen went away. Another example of synchronous. Someone besides William, please.
Webinars.
Webinars. Thanks, Scott. And that's exactly why I did that. All right, how about 2 in the other column?
E-learning.
E-learning delivered how?
On demand.
Yeah.
Okay. Can anybody expand on that just a little bit more? We've got this topic e-learning delivered on demand. What actual modality am I using to deliver that e-learning? An LMS, okay. We could use an LMS. And with that LMS, I'm going to use that LMS to store and deliver what type of content?
Like videos.
Thank you, Jay. Video.
PDF.
PDF. What is one of the more old school examples?
Well,
A book. You know, there's things that are made of paper that actually get dusty sometimes. You open them up, turn the pages. Those can still be used for this as well. Alrighty. got our synchronous, face-to-face instructor-led, whether that be live or via webinar. Asynchronous modality options, quite often delivered hopefully effectively through an LMS. Guys, is this something that we need to talk about as a group?
Oh, sorry. I'm so sorry.
Okay,
I was
thank-
just asking
thank you.
if they had an LMS and what software they use.
It's good stuff, and it's easy, really easy. I just only got a little bit of time. So
Okay.
thank you. Thank you. All right, and asynchronous. So we've got LMS, video, PDF, both. Now, as a network security instructor, very important that we kind of place all this stuff into a context. So, moving on, sitting at your individual tables, I'm going to pass out, and I think most people have Post-it notes. I would like you to develop on a Post-it note one example. Now, not yet, give just a second. As I said, I tend to teach network security, so we're going to talk about planning a birthday party. Could be for kids, could be for adults, I don't care. What I would like you, but rather than planning the party ourselves, I want to focus on teaching someone else what types of content need to be involved and what skills they need to have to be able to plan a birthday party. So, in your table groups, what I'd like you to do is write down 2 things that you think the party planner needs to know how to do. I would like 1 thing per Post-it note, and I'm going to have you add them to our board. Sound good?
We don't
Does
have any
anyone, you need Post-it notes? Fantastic, I have some right here. I know we've been throwing them all around the room. Well, here, you can use those. Anybody else need some? All right, let's take about 1.5 minutes for this one. I'm gonna have, and let's have 1 person from each group add your Post-it notes to the board when you're finished.
Yeah.
What are the tests? What do you need to be tied, or what are the different steps involving a planning a party?
Okay.
What does the party planner really need to have a good grasp on?
Okay.
And then I want you to think about how you teach them as well. So,
Should we write down how we
2 tasks. Actually, just give me the tasks, and we'll do the rest as a group. No, we don't. Fantastic. I'll tell you what, if you give them to me, you don't even have to get up out of your chair. I'll deliver them myself. Thank you. Hey, I said 2, I got 4. Fantastic.
Wherever it's on.
Like, good stuff. You guys need a little more time, or are you good to go?
Hold on. What is 2?
2 is good.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Okay. So, one of the things that, now normally I would have you guys come up to the board, but we're running a little tight here. So I'm gonna just do this, leave you in your seats. So we have determine the guest list. It's one of the skills we need to teach. What is the theme? Good idea. Bake a cake. Can't have a birthday party without a cake. Location, scheduling the location. Manage a guest list. I'm going to add this to determine the guest list. Is that all right with everyone? Budget. Need to know what kind of money we have. Who is the audience and how to communicate. Good stuff. So let's just add 1 feature to our content list before I add it in. We're going to label the content or the modality with A or S. What does A stand for? Asynchronous, and S is synchronous. So, when you're teaching someone to develop a budget for the party, first of all, what type of content? Or the content would be skills involved in budgeting. How do you think that would be best delivered? Using an asynchronous or synchronous modality? Asynchronous? list of rules, maybe? Okay, good stuff. And folks, we didn't quite make it to the end here, but I think we actually did hit our objective of one of the best ways to develop blended learning or to actually deliver our content is going to be to determine the appropriate modality that communicates the best. Guys, thank you for your time. Have a good day. Thank you.
Kurt, can you drop that screen again?
Yes.
Thank you.
The glare.
I wanted to be able to, and actually I can put a projection. The reason I got rid of the screen so
I get where you're going with the screen, or with getting rid of the screen so you can use the whiteboard.
Yeah.
But the reflection
We're
off
getting
the
much.
board, all I see is headlights now.
I'm sorry. But thanks, that's actually good input. I probably won't be doing it.
I've done it before. It works as a last resort. But if you have a screen, it would work better to use it just because then you don't have to deal with the glare.
Right. And I have sensory issues with the whiteboards and what have you. That's why I or with the flip charts.
Gotcha.
That's why I tend to avoid that. But thank you for the input.
I love doing that. But people, have people suggest things and then you categorize them in the front and awesome. This is something to do. Yeah. Have you seen that they have like actual 8 by like paper size sticky notes? Like sheet size sticky notes?
Well, they gave us bigger ones.
Yeah.
And they go up to like 8.5 by 11?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
I don't know, I don't know.
They
if
have
it's-
butcher block size sticky notes.
Yeah.
This
is big
guy
sticky
over
note.
here.
They have sticky note half too.
I use it all the time, but I always have to be careful. It comes up when I boot my machine, and I have to close it out almost immediately. They need a way to like actually park them out.
Hey.
No, but the sensory thing is having a.
You want me to click the room?
Definitely
So
see.
you can speak?
Guys, ready when you are?
Great.
Or not.
Delmar, you gonna start?
Sure. Thank you. Very good energy, the body language, the way you start with, very calm, very, like, you know what you were talking about. I think the only part was you were very serious. For me, I don't know, maybe it was for me, I don't know, but it was, maybe it wouldn't be better based on the experience that I have to be like, I think it was a serious topic for you, I know it was, and to put it out, it was very good, thank you.
No, thank you. I think I see where you're going.
Yeah, it was a little bit, I felt that you were one of those teachers that the topic is very important for you, so you definitely want people to get it right. It's based on your responsibility, I feel it, that you're so committed to it. And the exercise for me sounded, the beginning, a bit complicated, but then the cake and the birthday and the event, but that was good. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And just so you know, this is kind of the opposite style of material I teach.
Yeah.
Not for the last 6 years, I've been teaching how to on a complicated software product. So getting into something that's more theoretical and a little more touchy-feely. Haven't done a lot of that in years. But thank you. Thanks for
Alrighty, so I'll start with your glows. You seem very comfortable. This is obviously not, it didn't seem like new information to you at all. You seem very well versed in it, and I felt your expertise talking about it. You used really good body language and a command of the space. I personally liked that you wrote on the whiteboard. The light was a little bright, but I felt that everything you were writing was beneath it, so it was nice seeing that as a new way of presenting the information. And I liked how you used humor. You are a serious person, and I like the fact that you did joke around with everybody to show your personality, because you are quite fun to talk to. So I thought that tied that in well. The only row I thought is that because it ran a little long, since your activity had a couple of moving parts to it that needed to get done, you didn't leave time for feedback. And with a topic like this that's a little more abstract, I thought that could help to tie it in for people a little more. But if you'd had the time, I'm sure you would have
I
done
was
so.
gonna say, I agree with you 100%.
Great job, you guys. Great. All right, well done overall, Kurt, honestly. Like, you guys have all been so good, and what's so interesting to me is the unique styles I got to see today. And so I will start with your grows, and one of them was just around just how technical it was. So it was a really, not academic subject, but I just wondered about if there were people that might not know what modality meant, or synchronous, asynchronous, to step back a bit to say, just to explain that a bit. I know this room did, and so you were tailoring to your audience, but just to confirm, before I start talking about this, we're gonna be using these types of
Define
things.
terms.
Yeah, just
Got it.
because I often will use modality and people will say, what are you talking about? So, I get that. And then the other grow is, I agree completely, can't come out of space, and I understand what Delbar's trying to say in terms of, there were times where I felt like when you said, not yet, it just was, and I said, not yet, careful not coming across with, and I did as, and I put a question mark, because I can't figure out if it was, it's not dismissive, and it's not hurt, which is kind of funny. Pardon me?
Don't be triggered.
Maybe, yeah, there was just a bit of an undertone that I think that could potentially make me feel like, oops, did I make a mistake?
Yes,
That
you
was
did. That's why I
just
said
the
that.
tone of voice, yeah, so that was, and there was a couple of times I heard that. Okay? And that said, I also wanna acknowledge, though, when your personality came through, it's awesome, like you have your sense of humor, I love that. Like when you were smiling, and I felt that you were super connected with the subject matter. I would have loved to have heard more personality from you in terms of like, because I could tell it was passionate, and again, so how come it's passionate to Kurt?
If I start telling a story, in this case, we would still be here in not, 10 minutes now.
Fair
20,
enough.
35.
Okay, so you know so that's good self-awareness. That's good self-awareness. I felt you did a really great job using people's names, and that was great. And you also acknowledged people for everything they contributed, and even when there was like somebody gave you extra, you're like, oh, I said 2, I got 4, great stuff, thank you. You said thank you a lot. You were acknowledging people in terms of their contributions. And I had great humor. You clearly know what you're talking about. And the only other row I just had was at the very top here was, I know it was humor, and to start a conversation talking negatively about something that somebody actually might feel really good about, even though you might not like the term SME. I know it was a joke. If I'm a SME and I feel good about that could create a disconnect with one of your participants.
Outside of this room, and outside of the context of some of the comments that I've made, I would have never touched that. Thank you.
Yeah, I think you have such a strength. Your personality, when you get into the subject, and the way that you use humor, and when you smiled and just kind of took it with you, because you have a command of the room. I felt like I respected you. Like I felt respected. I wanted to know you held this subject matter expertise in the room. I got that from you. And I love your personality, so lean into that a little bit more. Because you've got, like Kurt, you've got such a great, you're enjoyable to watch.
thanks.
Okay?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, all right, thank you.